Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Overtime, your one-stop shop for all things RLCS and Rocket League eSports. I'm your host, Wavepunk. I've got a what's this guy's name? What's your name? What's your name? Oh, I forgot his name. Oh, it's a Quinn. It's a Quinn. There he is. It's Quinn there. And I've got a Gibbs. And I've got a Classics here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. You just come off a hot 2-0 on Saturday. It was really nice.
Absolutely.
It's not only Classics. It's Classics!
It's right.
It's all caps now.
It's all in caps. Classics.
All caps.
The funniest part is, like, you only notice, like, when you're on, like, the scoreboard, because the nameplates are always in all caps anyways. But then you go to the scoreboard and you're like, wait, why is it all, is there a reason for it all being caps right now?
I changed my name to all caps to have something new, and I've just kept it all season because I've been having a good season. There's no point in changing it.
There you go.
Works for him there. I guess why not? We can take a look at the standings here in North America and how things look after 4 weeks of league play. You heard it from Classics right here. They had a hot week and they're sitting up there tied for first place right now with Cloud9 and G2.
And there's so many tiebreaker scenarios, but basically top two for a world championship bid without having to worry about the regional championships between Cloud9, Ghost, G2, and Energy. Cloud9 has the best chance with the best win percentage, then Ghost, then actually Energy has a better win percentage than G2. So if it does come down to tiebreakers, G2's that odd man out, most likely. So it's going to be a very exciting final finish in the final week.
Yeah, absolutely. There you can see plenty of teams with plenty to play. Only a few teams here that have done their full 6 games. The 4 through 7 spots there have played 6 and only have 1 more to play. And yeah, we would think, put an NRG there in the middle, down at number 4. It's like this isn't necessarily where we're expecting to see them, but at the same time, it's so tight at the top. Like anything could change here really easily.
Yeah, I mean, you see all these teams really. No games, at least no wins separating them, just 1 loss for Energy. And seeing Energy...
Oh, 2 losses for Energy.
Oh, yeah, 2. Well, I mean, 1 loss more than the rest of the other teams that they're tied with. You can be a little more patient. Okay, don't interrupt me.
You weren't going to add that.
Are there any understandings? Are there any big surprises for you, Classics? Like, was there any teams that you don't expect to be at the bottom or you didn't expect to be at the top?
Not really. Like the way the teams are right now, most of the teams in the standings right now are how I've expected it to end up, except for maybe like Energy and G2. I thought maybe Energy be 4-1 and G2 be 4-2.
Cool.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And so, like, as we move forward here in week 4, who do we think is hot? Who do we think is not? Let's talk about this here. We got a cool new thing. It looks like predictions. It looks like, oh, look at that right there. Look at this. I'll say it. I mean, we're just go down the line here. Who do you think's hot right now?
That's a tough one for me, but I think I'm gonna have to say Ghosts.
Ghosts.
Easy answer.
It's a tough one, but it's literally written on his shirt. I'm gonna go with Ghosts too. I'm gonna stick with Classics here.
I'm gonna go with G2. They looked really strong.
Dude, my man, yeah.
Let's go, man.
Boom.
G2.
Is this overtime civil war here? Ghosts versus G2. We can talk. First, let's talk about Ghosts in the crazy week. You heard Classics say it earlier. Had a fantastic one going 2-0 here, going up against FlyQuest and Renegades. Had a beautiful week here in the end 4-1.
And that FlyQuest game, Zane Jackie, Classics, just talk about how insane Zane Jackie was during that first series. It seemed like every single play, Zane Jackie either set it up or scored it.
Zane Jackie played out of his mind. Whenever the ball was hit to him, he could have found a way to put it into the net. He turned every situation into a threat. He was always ready for the ball, and he was really showing why he deserved to be there.
Yeah, seriously, and that must have been, a breath of fresh air because the last few series, I felt that Zane Jackie was just, not really playing to his full potential. Not necessarily that he was a disaster or a bad player, but I mean, just compared to this performance, he was incredible.
But at the same time, Ghost, like one of your losses, Cloud9 was a sweep, but no Lethemir. So like you got him back, no internet issues. How good did it feel to actually have the full squad for some full series?
It felt amazing. I just hate how we had to play with a sub against Cloud9, the best team, I think, in the world at the moment. The results, they won DreamHack at Atlanta, and then they come into league play, they've only lost 1 game. But, yeah. And I think when Quinn was talking about Zane, I think he's been having an amazing season. I don't think he's been looking for. I don't have to disagree with you.
They've all been playing pretty well.
I wasn't trying to say he was bad by any means, but I think that compared to where he could be, like his potential, I think Zane's a great player.
But to be fair, it was also during those series without Lethemir.
Right,
like he was very quiet.
I'm not trying to discredit Zane Jackie. You're great, man.
And of course, Classics has to back up his teammates. Come on.
I feel like Zane's kind of a quiet player right now, maybe, but he's always kind of been a quiet player. He's always kind of been that good sweeper. He's always been in a defensive mind. He'll move forward and then he'll immediately fall back to cover the backside. So I feel like Ghost is in a good place right now, as far especially looking forward into week 5.
For sure. Them were looking really good. At the same time, though, G2, they beat Energy. What a series that was. That match was insane. We saw, like, a lot of people had Energy winning this game, but we see Rizzo coming up big in this series, and, like, all 3 stepped up. And, again, Energy, they haven't put together 2 consecutive series where they looked extremely strong so far this season.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. They've just been a little bit disappointing. And G2, on the other hand, it seems like they've taken whatever skill or energy just that energy's left behind. G2 had incredible weekend. That's why I think me and you, Gibbs, had them as our top.
And to be fair, JNAP's, it was his birthday, so that's probably why they went to that birthday luck. The problem was JNAP's did not have party time. He needed that party time goal explosion. It was his birthday.
Like,
come on.
Pink scored.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Fairy Pink should have traded it to JNAP's for just Saturday.
Yeah, he didn't need it on Saturday. You know, just take it on Saturday and they'll give it back for Sunday and he can use it on Sunday. You ever done that? You ever traded an item just to be able to play with it in RLCS?
Yes, I have actually.
Yeah.
These guys trade Alpha Boost like crazy.
Every single RLCS game, Blues trades his Alpha Boost to Zane so he could use it.
Oh, wow.
Every single time.
I bet there's only actually 6 Alpha Boosts among the pros, and they just trade them to whoever wants it for whatever match is happening at the time, so they just keep it rolling forward there. Who did you think was going to win between NRG and G2?
I thought NRG was going to take it out, but G2 definitely surprised me, and JNAP's played extremely well, like he always does. I think he's an amazing player.
Yeah.
He really showed it on Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were all predicting NRG as well. You saw the whole board on the desk was NRG there. But also, talking about other teams that had interesting weeks here, Renegades went 0-2, and they played with Miho there in the second series of the day. Talk to me, guys, about this substitution. Was it the right decision? Was it the wrong decision? What does Renegades do moving into the last week?
So at that point, they were backs against the wall. They needed to win the series to stay alive, and why not bring in Miho, try and change it up? It worked for them last season when they traded out Pluto for Timmy, so they're like, let's try it again. But the real question, I think, is will Miho continue to play throughout the season? They obviously don't have a chance for the playoffs, but for promotion relegation, that's a very big series coming up in just like 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I think it's a scary situation for Moses to be in where, and even really the team as a whole, where they're just not confident in how they're playing as a whole. I guess Moses may be thinking, he was tweeting out, I don't know if you guys saw it, he's like, time to bring out the secret weapon. And just Miho coming in. And actually, I was really surprised by Miho's performance. I think that they did play better. The trouble is they have way less time playing with Miho than with Moses at practice. I mean, Classics, you can talk about it yourself. How many times do you think, like, oh, I wish we had a substitute, this player's not playing on today? Is that ever, like, a concern for you guys?
Not really, because that also demoralizes the player that you sub out, and that's that's gonna hurt them the rest of the season. Usually when someone plays bad, they just have a bad day, and you help them get through it and make it to the next weekend. I would never really want to sub someone out.
Well, you said it was Moses that was tweeting out that they had a secret weapon, though, right?
Yeah, Moses wrote time to bring out the secret weapon.
I wonder how much that was Moses, like, trying to, like, encourage himself that, like, this is the right thing for the team, we're going to pull in Miho there, and they didn't get the victory there. Rogue actually ended up sweeping them. They only have one more match in league play. You think we see Miho again next week?
I think we do, because at that point, they thought backs against the wall, they bring Miho in. They brought him in for a reason. So I think they're going to have to use him for the rest of the season. We'll probably see him in promotion relegation, but who knows? Like, we don't know exactly what's going on, but I did like that Moses was trying to encourage the team and try and get them into it.
A lot of just shout outs to Moses for actually saying whether or not he thought he was the problem, he figured something had to change, and that's a difficult decision no matter who you are.
I feel like Renegades has been a team that has had to use subs more than we've seen other teams in the past. Like we were talking about with Pluto last season, subbing himself out there, and then Moses now coming out and Miho coming in. So we'll see how they play in the last week there of league play. But moving forward, where are the players after 4 weeks of going through the accolades? We've got strikers and assists and saves all on the line here. Leaders here for North America. Let's take a look at who's in the lead right now for Golden Striker. Gimmick had a bye week, still sitting clean at the top of there. The only person who has broken 1 goal per game. But down at the bottom there, hey, those are 2 players we know. Hey, I know that name. All in caps. I mean, they're all in caps right now. But, that's how it is. Classics there, number 4.
Yeah. Do my best to get as many goals as possible, get the team in the lead, and we scored a lot. I got a lot of free goals. My teammates have been setting me up a lot, to be honest.
Now, the real question is, though, coming into the last week, you're 4th and Lethamir's 5th. When there's a slow roller going in that Lethamir touched last, are you going to be trying to creep up to it?
Just a bit. We had to talk about it, actually. I actually had to talk about this. So I'm going to try to get Leth as many assists as possible because he's up there. And then I'm going to get as many goals as possible. I mean, except Zane could have the saviors.
Yeah, that's good. Just split it off, see if you can get. Man, how crazy would it be if we had like one team win all the awards for a region?
We almost had it with NRG. They were doing really well last season, so that almost happened. Except for saves, that's the hard part. Like when you're doing so well, there's less saves to go around. So it's tough.
Be like, hey, for this 3rd game, we've got a 2-game lead. How about we just sit back and just let the one guy who's in goal just like get as many saves as possible? Just
don't give pros ideas.
I don't know. I'd be really entertained. I'd be really entertained if they were able to pull it off. Speaking of assists here, as you heard him saying that Lethamir was up on the assist board. Let's take a look at who's in the lead here for North America. You see J-Naps down there at number 5. Ty Not Tyler, Squishy Muffins, and Gimmick still. Gimmick actually I think was in second last week, and some other players' averages dropped down.
It was
the same.
He was number 1 with 1 assist, but again, he only played like 5 games.
Right.
So his average has gone down. His Classics was just not being nice and not scoring the goals that Lethemir passed to him. So Lethemir has dropped off the list. Who knows? He can still make a comeback. He's got 2 series, and again, his average has more variance because he's played a lot less games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really surprised this clutch playmaker seeing Ty Not Tyler there. Yeah. That's a super interesting stat there, especially because it seemed like he was scoring actually the most of his team's goals, but I figured now at this point, maybe his 2 teammates are struggling a little bit to kind of make opportunities for themselves, and that's put Ty Not Tyler into more of a playmaker role.
They certainly will. But moving forward onto the defensive side of the ball and how things are going as far as saves over there. I believe it is Seabass. Yes, still speaking of allegiance there. This is more typically where we would expect to see teams that are at the bottom of the standings is in the savior side because they're having to play so much defense. But still, teams like Garrett and Rizzo, these players, G2 and NRG up at the top, still having to make a lot of saves here. And
plus, last week we saw Kronovi up here and not Rizzo, but Rizzo 15 saves versus NRG. One of the main reasons why they won that series, and that's why he's moved up.
Just an incredible stat right there.
Is there ever any sort of like, we've talked about this before, Classics, with, you know, like the savior is given often to the teams that is having to play the most defense. It's almost maybe something you don't want. Do you think the players feel that way about it?
Yeah, I do think they feel that way. Usually you want to cut the ball off in midfield or before it gets to your net. If the ball gets to your net, you didn't do it successfully. People don't want to get many saves. You want to get less saves.
Yeah, that makes sense there. But hey, still get some money there, some consolation at the end if you are. And again, some fantastic players on that list. So, talking about the RLRS here for North America and where everybody's sitting, we can take a look at the standings of how those look after the league plays that they have had so far. Fibian sitting at 6-0, which would be an RLCS record if it was an RLCS, but right now it's PSG over in Europe that has actually gotten there. But we're getting ahead of ourselves with the undefeated teams right now. Hollywood Hammers sitting at 5-1 now, 2-way tie for third.
But the very big game that happened last week, Hollywood Hammers could have been also 6-0 going to the final week. They played Out of Style, and Out of Style swept them. So now Out of Style, they still have a chance at the top 2. They just have to perform better than Hollywood Hammers. They both have separate games. As long as Out of Style performs better, they will move up, and Fibian has already guaranteed a spot in the promotion relegation.
Which I'm sure Fibian feels so happy about, especially considering their, not great play-in performance. They're leading them into RLRS. I don't know. What do you think about Fibian and these RLRS teams? Do you think that they're really going to come into the RLCS and maybe make a big impact? Do people kind of underestimate the RLRS?
I think one team is going to come out of RLRS. I think Allegiance is going to step down. I don't think they're going to be able to hold up under the pressure again like they did in qualifiers. I think either Fibian or Out of Style is going to make it into the RLCS.
No Hollywood Hammers.
I don't know. Out of Style with Justin.
Fired.
I think Justin is by far the best player in RLRS. He's amazing.
Wow. I can see it. So we were talking about this earlier. You think of if Out of Style doesn't make it through, do you think Justin gets picked up by an RLCS team?
I'd say there's probably about a 50% chance he does.
Yeah.
There was like a little light bulb.
Wait a minute. He might replace me.
Oh, that's a good idea.
You know the way you replaced Quinn.
Exactly.
It's easy. It's just the nature of the pros. This is how it works there. But folks, talking about week 5, we got one more week of league play here in RLCS. We'll take a look at the schedule. And guys, talk to me here about what we're looking forward to. Match 6, holy cow, NRG versus Cloud9. I cannot wait for that game. And Classics, you guys have 2 more games here in the last week. They're going up against Rogue and G2.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. We're going to try our best to get as many wins as possible. Whatever happens, happens. We're just going to do our best, try to get those W's.
And you're going to be going up against one of the other teams that is sitting at 4-1, G2. How are you feeling about that match?
I'm feeling pretty confident. The last 2 seasons, actually, I've eliminated G2 from LAN, and I've eliminated them from top 6.
That's right.
I'm going to try to make this the 3rd time's the charm. Maybe I can do it. We'll see.
Classics the Kronovi killer, man.
No, really, Classics, I've noticed this. Anytime Classics goes up against Kronovi or any Kronovi team, it's just like the mind games are there. Classics like such an aggressive player, and Kronovi,
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Classics never beat me when I was with Kronovi. I'm just saying, maybe Kronovi's not Kronovi is the problem. Maybe I'm the solution.
Stop trying to be relevant.
That was so long ago. That was like
it was like 3 years ago.
We're washed up, okay?
Gibbs, there was an ESL where we took you 4-1 in Wasteland.
Oh, because it was Wasteland. That's why. That's why we're going back to only standard maps.
Sure.
Rest in peace, Wasteland. Won't happen there. But folks, it's going to be a great show. We've got a lot of fun stuff in store for you. We'll talk about playoffs. We'll have some trivia. But first, we're going to recap Europe. We'll do that and more when we come back from the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
the night. The city lights are dancing, slowly falling apart. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling stronger, and I know I can do better. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the lights on.
Welcome back to Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Classics will be back, don't worry. But for now, we brought back everybody's favorite facial hair, the findable carpet. It's right here.
That's all I am. I'm just everybody's favorite facial hair.
It is your most defining feature, but not my favorite feature. My favorite feature
We don't need to talk
is his
about
personality.
We don't need to talk about Wavefunk's favorite feature of findable carpet. That's not good for stream.
I don't know.
It's a different stream entirely.
I don't know. I think we're gonna move on before they shut us down. We're just trying to keep this show on the road. Let's take a look at the European standings. Things were crazy, folks. We set the record for the most undefeated team, and then we broke it. Method went to 5-0. Only team that ever done anything before that was 4-0. And then we had PSG tie them and then beat them. They're sitting up at the top, only undefeated team in RLCS.
And if one series to go back to is that PSG Method series. The battle of 5-0s went all the way to Game 5. I won't spoil it for you in case you can't read, but just go back and watch that one.
I won't spoil for you between Method and PSG. Who won that game?
You won't spoil it for you on the spoilers show.
If you're on a 4:3 aspect ratio and you haven't got your computer set up correctly, maybe you don't know.
Maybe.
At this point in time. Maybe.
It was like
For everyone else, like, you can go and watch.
Maybe if you're just, if it's for the poor blind viewer who's just listening and we haven't actually said who's at the top. It is PSG, by the way, who won. Just to clear it up.
Spoilers.
Oh, well,
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, it's been days, kids. It's been days. If you're that far behind on the show,
Hey, some people have babies, all right? They can't just watch it whenever they want to.
that's
right?
their
That's
problem.
gross.
You have a baby, and you're literally here. So I don't see this. Let's talk about who's hot over here in Europe, folks. Had some fun with that over in North America, and now here in Europe. I just want to go down the line here quickly. Carpet, who's hot for you?
I mean, it's got to be PSG.
PSG.
That's too easy. Gale Force.
Too easy. Okay.
Gale Force.
It's PSG.
I think we all love PSG here. We'll talk about Gale Force in a second, okay? But
I think it's fair. I think it's a fair choice to pick Gale Force.
Yes, it's
the hipster choice. You know, well done.
That's exactly what you say, but I'm hipster.
Yes. Look at the poster child for hipsterism.
Right.
Carpet, you've been replaced.
What?
Ooh, ho, ho.
Oh no! What am I to do?
beards are pretty mainstream right now.
Actually,
PSG.
yeah, he's managed to switch it over.
Let's talk about the most undefeated team in RLCS history right now. PSG has had an amazing season, defeating literally everything that has come in their path, and they went 2-0 this week, going 3-1 against Excel, and then 3-2 in the massive showdown against Method.
And Farrah gets dropped from leftovers. Like, nah, it doesn't matter. I'll still make it back to the World Championship. Shawset has always just barely missed. Season 2 was the last team out. Season 3, the last team out. And now Season 4, he finally makes it. And Bluey, the 15-year-old rookie coming in. So such a young squad coming in here.
Yeah, I think a very good point to make. This is the only team right now in all of RLCS who has clinched a top 2 spot, and they will be going to the World Championships. Well done to them.
I'm just super stoked that that game actually lasted as long as it did. I mean, the fact that it actually went to Game 5, a lot of times when you see, like, this is it, guys, these are the Titans, and then it's a 3-0 sweep and they lost like 5-0 every game. So I was just happy to see that both teams respected each other as much as they did. I'm referring to Method for those of you that haven't figured that out. But the Method and PSG game, like, both of them had so much respect for each other, but they didn't hold back. They really went all for it.
I love that game because we saw the very beginning, and we've been talking on and on and on and on about Method speed. And I love what PSG did. It was almost like a test of strength between those two squads, where PSG just went, okay, you're fast. We'll try and match it for this very first goal. We'll see if we can outpace you guys. And they did. They picked up the first one. And it really sort of set the tone for the rest of the game of, they'll go for everything. Both teams were trying the same tactics. They were trying for the same things, yet only one team was going to do it better. That ends up being PSG.
But at the same time, so they do clinch a world championship spot, but that doesn't mean they're top 2 in their region. They still have to play through the actual playoff as well. So, and in Europe, it seems like anyone can win one of these series. So they have to not take the foot off the pedal just yet. Keep going with this and try and get that #1 seed for their region.
I think it's funny. You ever like listen to like a song and you listen to a song, you know it's fast. And you listen to a different song that's like way faster, and then you listen to the other song and you're like, this song feels really, really slow. It kind of felt to me that way when we were watching the Gale Force Mocket match right after the PSG Method match. You know, I was like, this match feels kind of slow, but it's because of just how fast PSG and Method were playing. Like the Gale Force Mocket match was a pretty good game of 2 very high caliber teams that were rotating very well in the defense, but because of just how high octane the match was with PSG and Method, it was the Gale Force Mocket match. It kind of felt a little slow afterwards, but that was also a good game. Gale Force, we said call them the hipster pick because they're right there in the kind of the middle of the standings, or they're at #3 right now, 4-2. But they went 2-0 this week, had a brilliant performance.
And plus, they have an outside chance for top 2, which we'll talk about later when we go to playoff scenarios. But 2-0 performance from them. They lost in Game 5 to both PSG and Method earlier in the season, so they could have easily been up there in one of these top 2 spots. So don't count them up. Don't count them out when it comes down to the playoff time, because I think they can do well. Yeah, or count them up. No, please count them up.
Most people count up, Gibbs.
I mean, some people count down.
I mean, at the end of the game, 10.
It's like for New Year's and like,
pretty situational. I think both are pretty used.
Yeah, that's only when you're about to yell at your children, or New Year's is when you count down.
I'm gonna count. I don't know. People count to 3 for their kids a lot.
Oh, yes, that's
counting
true.
up. So
I'm just speaking from personal experience.
we're just looking for
2 people without babies trying to talk about kids here. I don't know.
Why are you looking at me for
because
that?
you're my child.
I'm 21.
Because you're my child.
You are impressive in your teams.
You're my son.
who's not hot.
Just
who's
proof that Gibbs is like 60 years old.
Let's talk about the antithesis here and the other side of things, because we had 2 teams that also had just heartbreaking weeks here. Flipside Tactics is the first one we'll talk about, a team that definitely had their struggles here. They went to 5 games in both their series and lost them in Game 5 to Excel and Gale Force.
And now they're sitting down all the way at the bottom. They are 1-5. They only have 1 game left. And honestly, they have to win that game, basically, versus Team Secret. So to have any chance at going to the playoffs, but they didn't look that great on the defensive side of the ball, I thought. Cookshare had a pretty good showing, but Markey, once in a while, some poor touches. Mystic looked lost once in a while on that 3rd rotation, and that's just enough to lose both these series in 5.
Shogun, I almost called you Quinn. Shogun, you said before the first match, you were like, I have to pick Flipside just because I can't see Flipside at 1-4. And now they're at 1-5. So can you see it now?
I mean, I kind of have to. It's right in front of me there, just going, yeah, they're definitely at 1-5. They are definitely not performing like they were supposed to this season. Cooks, like Gib just said, looked very comfortable on that new Batmobile, the old new Batmobile, whatever, I'm not going into that. But the rest of the squad, it's the same problems they've had for a while, now being punished by a region that has just been constantly battling against each other, constantly improving. And then they're the one squad that just hasn't been involved in those battles throughout the summer, and this is the result of it.
Yeah, and Cookshare did say that he was much more comfortable in the Batmobile, and he had some fantastic plays. They did go to 5 games in both these series. Like we're talking about them not hot because they lost both their series, but they were very close series here for Flipside.
And I guess the biggest question is, should they have been this close? But just even watching these highlights right now, you can see what they're capable of. They're just so inconsistent about when they pull that off, and their rotations really seem to be their weak point. A lot of times, almost all the goals that we saw just previously were because they were having to retreat and they couldn't get back quick enough. It wasn't like an outplay, a demolition. They just were getting beat back to their own half.
Yeah.
And, I mean, but even look at this shot from Mystic. You can't pull, if you can pull that off, you're a top caliber team. You can do it. It's just a matter of if you don't do it consistently enough, you're just going to get beat week after week. And being able to do it all 5 games in a row is, I think, what's really difficult for them.
That sounds like we're talking about G2 right now. This has been their story, too. A fantastic top caliber team which consistency has plagued them. They're pretty consistent right now. But over in Europe right now, Flipside had a rough week. And let's talk about Mocket for a moment here as well. Mocket also had a pretty rough week. They're going 0-2, but still hanging around. They're sitting at number 5. They're at 2-3, not the 1-5 record of Flipside. So they are in a little bit better spot. Pretty guaranteed top 6, but there's still some situation where they could not. We'll get more into that later.
Yeah, but Mocket, I thought the Method series was kind of disappointing for them. They basically did nothing throughout the entire series, and that was a chance for them to be like, hey guys, keep us in that conversation as one of the best teams or a world championship team. And then Method came in and just completely destroyed them. So I think they have to be a little demoralized going into their final week, but they still have a chance. Obviously, all these teams in the quarterfinals, like just like Flipside, I don't think anyone wants to play any of these teams in the quarterfinals. So look out for them going forward.
Yeah, Mucket's always been historically a squad that can bounce back from any of these situations. Pashy's got the experience, he's got the leadership. I hope he's going to keep his team going and just have a little bit of a talk. More play time this week, get themselves figured out a little bit more. Against Method, I feel like that was just a play style that they were never going to do all that well against, but they did show up later on the day. They did start playing a little bit better. So I'm going to put this down for the time being as just one bad week. We'll see next week, however, if that's how it was or if it's just a case of, okay, maybe the rest of the pack's better than them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw Freaky tweeting out like it was just a week to forget for them here, and they have 2 more games to play in the next week, in the last week of league play. So definitely they can improve to 4-3. We'll see how things go as they move forward. But speaking of how things are going so far in the player accolades race for Europe here, who's in the lead for Golden Striker? Might surprise you, might not, depending on how much attention you've been paying. Neil Skoke's still sitting up at the top there, the only person in Europe with a 1 goal per game record or higher.
But also, you see both Gale Force and PSG, those 2 hot teams, they're starting to get that offense going on Gale Force. PSG has always been up there. Shawset is one of those big surprises. But Niels Cook, with Excel, maybe the surprise of the season. PSG, sure, they're also surprised, but no one expected Excel to have a chance still at top 2, and they control their own destiny going into the final week of the season.
I mean, Niels Cook kind of foreshadowed it last season, too. He was in contention for spots like this. You know, it's, was it shots last season, or was it?
It was goals.
It was goals still, right? And even though his team really struggled, you know, he was kind of in where Flipside's sitting right now, but they still managed to get enough goals for him to be up there. So we kind of foreshadowed that, right? It's like we kind of, I don't want to say wrote him off, but it was hard to truly be like, okay, maybe Niels Cook is that because his team struggled so much. But now that he's on a team that can show up week to week, like he's reminding us like, oh, maybe Niels Cook is like a player we should really all be careful of.
Yeah, and their record doesn't look that impressive right now, sitting at 3-2, but they could end at 5-2 if they have a great week in the final week there. So looking good things for Niels Cook right now. Looking over at the assists, who's helping Niels Cook and company make these shots happen? Up there at the top, Violent Panda, all of Gale Force somewhere on these leaderboards right now, but also Fairy Peak and Freaky, the F duo there from Mocket.
Who's helping Niels Cook? Oh, it's Niels Cook. Okay.
Yeah. Down at 5. Bluey also on the leaderboard here. Clutch Playmaker.
I actually found that interesting. So Bluey is on the Clutch Playmaker side, like a lot of assists for his team, and both of his teammates in second and third for the other. And it's, you know, when you're watching the game, I think it was a little harder for me to pinpoint that because you can tell that they all share it relatively.
Yeah.
But Bluey, generally, when you have a really highly mechanically skilled player, they tend to be your setup. They tend to be your playmaker, strictly because they can move the field more often, because they're so good mechanically that they can just pull people out of position and then just beat them to it. And then you almost always have something open or a better strike for a teammate. Yeah. And both of them are just coming in. Like, they're both there, number 2 and number 3.
We talked about this on the weekend with, you know, what was PSG doing? And they were forcing teams to defend the air dribble from Bluey, so they're falling back, and that opened up all the space for the passing plays there. So because Bluey's creating these opportunities, he's not actually scoring the goals, but it's his threat of scoring the goals that is creating the opportunities for Farah and Shawset.
And plus, we saw him also go for demos on goalies. He'll like set up a pass, a small pass to Shawset. Shawset settles that ball down, and Bluey immediately going right for the goalie. Shawset scores just in enough time that it still counts as an assist.
This season, whenever I've been watching these VODs, I've kind of seen that there's almost like a new role on these squads, which is now the ball carrier, which is someone that you just give the ball to. They can air dribble it, they can just go for a regular dribble, but their job is to pull players away from the defense.
Yeah.
Bluey's a good example of that. Insolence is a very good example of that, of just players that can pull that off so well. And we might see more and more of it as the game continues to grow.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming kind of the one role here for that first player out on offense. And now it's moving over to defense, and who's in the lead for Europe here for saves per game. We'll look at the savior of the season.
Oh, it's Niels Cook.
Oh, wow, that's Niels Cook. Look at that. Crazy. This guy is having quite the performance. 2.21.
Speaking of MVP as well, we have to decide that after next week. And Niels Cook being in the top 5 in all 3 categories, making a pretty strong statement so far for it.
I think the Shawset was pretty high during the weekend, too, and he'll stay here in the top 3. So definitely a tight race there. Flame from Secret, they've been having kind of a rough season of trying to get wins here, but that does leave them a lot of opportunities to get some saves. So that's here, you know, the accolades for Europe evolving pretty nicely here, but we can take a look at Yummy Cheese Man from OCE. What does he got to say about things and how they're going down under?
Thanks, Wave Punk. Throwdown OCU League play has just crossed the halfway line, and we still can't separate any of the teams. There's 3 tied at the top of the ladder and 3 tied just behind them. As we do want to look at who is in the front running to get the player accolades this week and who might be able to get them at the end. Express is leading right now on the Golden Striker with 1.2 goals per game, and despite Chiefs Torsos getting 9 goals off 14 shots in 3 games this week, he's still just behind him at 1.19. For the clutch playmaker, Scylla eSports has Kira, who is at 1 assist per game, and the way that he's been playing, it doesn't look like he is going to be beat, but if it is anyone, it'll be Jer Monticona coming in at 0.93. Avant Gaming Siki is leading up the goalkeeper award with 2.25, which is not a surprise considering Avant Gaming have been one of the most offensive teams in the region, and only followed up by the most offensive team, Conspiracy, who has Walcott just behind on 1.94. It's going to be a great week of league play. Coming up this week is a huge match between Avant Gaming and Conspiracy Esports in match number 2, where both teams must win to be able to make it to PAX.
Man, did you hear what he said there about Torsos? He averaged 3 goals a game this week and is still in second. That's how offensive OCE is right now.
I think what's nuts is that they have 3 teams tied for first, and then effectively 3 teams tied for I guess second, but not really because they're all going to drop.
Fourth, I guess.
I guess fourth.
Yeah.
That's actually insane, the fact that they're all that close, because we are kind of seeing a little bit different over here. And I know that previously in OC it seemed to be a bigger of a stretch, right? I know sometimes where just a couple teams are really dominated. So I'm actually stoked to see that many teams are really close in a region that's relatively new to this competitive scene.
Absolutely. We can take a look at the RLRS standings for Europe. How are things doing in our sister league there? And at the top, no surprise, just like Fibian over in North America, Leftovers still sitting at 6-0. The 2 teams we were expecting to make it into the RLCS are absolutely dominating their competition in the rival series. Definitely going to see these teams in the promotion relegation. It's just a matter of time at this point.
Yep, and the Leftovers, they get that #1 seed no matter what. And then Endpoint and Juicy Kids, they're fighting for that 2nd spot.
Absolutely. So, moving forward to week 5 in Europe, the last week of league play here. What matches do we have in store for ourselves? We could take a look. We got 6 matches on the table for you guys. A lot of movement going to happen here. Only 1 team confirmed for top 2. That's PSG, but Method's still going to be fighting for that spot. Gale Force, Excel. A lot of action here. A lot of movement can happen.
That very first game, Method versus Excel. Excel has to win that 3-1 or better to have a chance for a top 2, and then they control their own destiny later on versus Market.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of movement to happen at this point, and if you want to know what does my team have to do to make it into the playoffs, we've got some information for you. The next segment here, we're going to do the playoff scenarios. Gibbs is just going to walk us through what every team has to do to make it into the playoffs or to make it into the top 2, depending on where they are at right now. If you want to know that, stick around. Overtime will be right back.
I do need you. do need you. I do need you.
Welcome back to RLCS Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. Just got done with a recap of Week 4. Now, Week 5, lots of playoff implications on the line. So we're definitely going to talk about all those things after we get done with this blue versus black civil war we've got.
Black and blue, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This was entirely unintentional, and this is just how it happened. Here we are. Absolutely. All right, but since no one's laughed about that, just Gibbs, take it away.
All right, we're going to do playoff scenarios. Obviously, guys, we're going to go through every single team that's still alive, except for Renegades. Rest in peace, Renegades. They are done. So we're going to start in North America, and we're going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. So we're going to start with Allegiance here. Technically, they're behind Renegades right now, but they still have a chance for top 6. What they need, though, is 2 wins. They need to beat G2 3-0 and then just beat FlyQuest, and they're fine. Or if they beat G2 3-1 or 3-2, they have to at least 3-1 FlyQuest to get that tiebreaker in the win percentage column over FlyQuest. But they control their own destiny, so that's pretty nice for them.
And Renegades is done because they've played 6 games.
Exactly. They played 6 games, and they just cannot catch up. But that's why we still have Allegiance here. Next up, we got FlyQuest. Now, this is the same for Allegiance as well. They can only get the 6th spot. So FlyQuest can only get the 6th spot. And if Allegiance, if they lose one of those 2 games, then they're done. And they obviously play each other, so that's a big game. Or if they lose 3-2 to Allegiance, then they are also done. For Allegiance, I should say, then FlyQuest will clinch a top 6. So as long as they get 2 wins versus Allegiance, they're in. They don't have to worry about winning the entire series. Moving on to Rogue, we have them. They are kind of the most boring. They've clinched top 5, so they will at least get that 4-5 matchup. They can jump up to 3rd, though, and that's if they beat Ghost, and then they would need some tiebreaker help. So 3rd's pretty important because you might want to play a FlyQuest or Allegiance, who seem like the weakest teams right now. So Rogue, pretty boring. They can't really go anywhere. They've already clinched the playoff berth, so congrats to them. We'll see you in Season 5. And next up, we get the top 4 teams. We are going to start with NRG. They're 4-2. They've clinched the top 5 as well. Again, all these guys at least top 5 because that's 6 spots between Allegiance and FlyQuest. But for top 2, they only have 1 game left. They need to beat Cloud9 and then need some tiebreaker help. Or if they win and Cloud9 goes 0-2, they would also need the loser of G2 Ghost to go 0-2. And that's if they don't want to play with tiebreakers.
Okay, I think.
But one thing that's good for NRG, they are 3rd in the win percentage column right now. They're 4th in standings, but they are ahead of G2. So if it comes down to a tie between those 2, likely NRG will beat them.
So when you say tiebreaker help, you're talking about the win percentage.
Yes, of course. The first tiebreaker is win percentage in individual games. It is no longer head-to-head. Head-to-head is the second tiebreaker in case they do tie after that. So moving on, we'll go to G2, who is going to lose out on most tiebreakers because they have the lowest win percentage right now. But again, they have clinched top 5 as well. For top 2, if they get 2 wins, they are in. Or 1 win plus tiebreaker help. They play Ghost the second to last game, and they play Allegiance. So a lot of people expect them to beat Allegiance, so that Ghost matchup is very important for a top 2 spot. But they can still get it even if they do lose that game. They would just need some tiebreaker help. But again, tiebreakers do not favor them, so they would need some sweeps and then a close 5-game series to have any chance there. Next up, we have Ghost. So Ghost is the 2nd best win percentage right now. They've also clinched top 5. For top 2, 2 wins, simple for them as well. Or 1 win and tiebreaker help. But once again, their tiebreaker help doesn't need as much because they have a higher win percentage than G2 and, of course, NRG as well. So going into those last matchups, again, that Ghost G2 matchup, match 5, that one's going to mean a lot. But then they might still be watching when Cloud9 plays NRG later because they play right after. So they might be rooting for Cloud9 at that point. Next up, we have Cloud9. The team in first, they have a really high win percentage. They're like 10 points better than everyone else in the win percentage column. So tiebreakers are looking for them. And the reason for that is now they just have to beat Renegades 3-0. And if they do that, their win percentage is so high, they can't lose any tiebreaker. So they will clinch top 2. They won't have to worry about that huge matchup at the end of the day versus NRG. So that matchup is extremely important for Cloud9. Or say they lose to Renegades, hope is not lost. If they beat Energy 3-1, they still win all tiebreakers, and they will be up in top 2. Now, of course, they don't have to win every tiebreaker. They just have to come in the top 2 in them. So if there's a 3-way tie, they just have to at least finish second. Or, of course, 2 wins will get them in. Or 1 win that is not those results, then they would need some tiebreak help. But again, these other teams have to play catch-up, so they're going to have to look for sweeps in order to catch up to Cloud9.
So for the teams on the top, for the teams that are all 4-1 right now, 2 wins gets you in.
Yep.
A win plus a tiebreaker help gets you in. And if you're Cloud9, specific 1-game wins can guarantee you in right now.
And that's why it's so great to be winning most of your series 3-0 or 3-1 throughout the season, that they can just control their own destiny with just their first game against Renegades, who is a last-place team right now. So they don't have to worry necessarily about that really tough matchup later.
Yeah, so Cloud9 in a really good place at the moment. They're the team that I feel like we're favoring the most, probably. Definitely the best chance of making it to the top 2.
I would say so, but top 2 is still tough. They still have to play NRG, so if they don't get that sweep on Renegades, NRG can definitely beat this Cloud9 team, so they're going to be looking out there. But my question to you guys, who is the top 2 after today? Or after next week?
I feel like just given all the things that could go right and could fall into place for Cloud9, I feel like I got to put Cloud9 up there. And I honestly feel like, Classics isn't up here, so I feel okay saying this, or else he might punch me. I think I'm going to go with G2 on this one right now, the G2 Ghost matchup.
I have to agree with you, because G2 also, they play Allegiance, who's down at the bottom, so you would think they would win that, and then as long as they beat Ghost, they would take that spot. So I'm going Cloud9 G2 as well.
Quinn, let's contribute to something very quickly. Let's go. I'm going to probably agree with you guys. So, yeah, I'm not contributing as much as I was hoping I was going to.
Yeah, this is going to be a letdown. I think you
Cloud9 G2 as well?
Cloud9 G2.
Nobody putting an RG in the top there?
Well,
nobody?
It's tough because, I mean, they've done so well over so many seasons, but, every dream comes to an end.
I mean, they rarely go into the playoffs in the #1 seed anyways. They usually play in the playoffs and come out and win there. So, I guess, yeah, that's good stuff there for North America. What you got for EU?
All right, let's go to Europe. We'll start at the top this time, change it up a little bit. PSG, they've clinched top 2. They are fine for #1 seed. All they need is a win or a Method loss. And if they do lose their game, that Method loses, they still get the #1 seed. Very simple for them. We'll quickly go past them. We'll go on to Method, who they have the best chance at the top 2. If they win, they're in. They play Excel, though. So if they lose also 2-3 to Excel, they win tiebreakers over Excel later on, no matter what they do. They will also get in. Or if they lose to Excel by more, they have to hope for a loss by Excel and Gale Force. Or they lose to them and just need some tiebreaker help, depending on ties. Next up, we have Gale Force. They're sitting in 3rd right now, but they actually have an extremely hard chance to get top 2, way harder than the team below them, which is Excel. They have to sweep Envy, plus need tiebreaker help to have any chance for a top 2. They have clinched top 5, though. Next up is Excel. They have 2 games left. One of them's against Method, so they control their own destiny going into this. They need to beat Method 3-1 plus Mock it 3-1, or they just need to beat Mock it with no matter what score, as long as they sweep Method, and then they will take over tiebreakers there. Next up, we do have Mock it. They have not clinched top 6 yet. The highest that they can get is 3rd. They just need 1 win for top 6, or they can still lose 2, and they still have pretty generous tiebreakers to still make it in. But again, probably don't want to get swept in both of those series, because that'll hurt your chances going forward. Next up, Team Envy, the world champions. The highest they can get is 4th. So they're going to play in that 4th, 5th matchup, and that's only if they get 2 wins. Otherwise, they need a win plus a Flipside and a Secret loss, and they play each other. So they would need the other game. So Secret have to beat Flipside and then lose later, or they get 1 win and tiebreaker help. They do have better tiebreakers than Secret, not so much against Flipside. And then Flipside, we'll move on to them. Top 6, the highest that they can get is 5th. They need a win plus Envy 0-2, and Envy's playing PSG and Gale Force, so it's a really tough game for them. Or a win plus tiebreaker help, or even they can lose to Team Secret, their only game, and still make it in based on tiebreaker help if Secret loses their other game and Envy loses both. Moving on to Team Secret, who is still alive. They have no wins so far, but they need 2 wins in this final week. They need 2 wins plus Envy to go 0-2, and they will advance. They're playing Flipside, so they can at least bump Flipside down. Or they need 2 wins, and if Envy goes 1-1, they can still win tiebreakers, but they're so far behind, they're going to need some sweeps to make it up.
So like add the 2, carry the 1, and Flipside can get 5th?
Exactly.
Man.
Exactly. And this is why they pay me the big bucks. With.
For real, a lot of calculations going into that one there. The flip side can only make 5th place. That's the highest flip side can place right now in week 5.
And that 4 or 5 match will be really tough. But 5th is a lot better than 6th because you don't want to face that 3rd team that just missed out on top 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so weird to think that Flipside can still somehow make it to LAN.
Yeah.
Right? And especially
and
Envy as well. Like,
yeah.
What?
I mean, Flipside's played 6 matches, but Envy's only played 5. If they get their 2 wins, then they'd be at 3 and 4, and it'd be like, oh, they look, kind of right there in the middle. So things still possibly alive for every team in Europe. Surprisingly, the only team that is not in is Renegades. They will be out of the playoffs at this point, and be playing in promotion relegation. But for everyone else, there's still a chance. So definitely show up next weekend to cheer for your teams. When we come back to overtime, ladies and gentlemen, going to be doing some trivia. Classics will be here. Pros versus casters. Who's smarter? Let's find out. I'm excited. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, guys, to RLCS Overtime. Wade Funk is gone. We fired him. He's done. We're doing RLCS Trivia. Pros versus casters for, I believe, the very first time. So it should be fun. See if pros actually know anything. We have classic, so maybe not. But first contestant is the findable carpet. We finally found him. Look at this, man. Look at this beautiful. Oh, look at that handwriting. Your right hand is about my right hand, and I'm a righty.
I concentrated a little bit.
That's not too bad. To my left, another contestant. I don't know how he made the first World Championship. Quinn Lobdell.
The #1 LAN boy.
And finally, the pro. The man in all caps. Classics. Ghost greater than G2. Hiding his face from his own thing. Follow him on Twitter, guys. Everyone follow Classics on Twitter. It doesn't matter if it's capital or not on Twitter, so you don't have to worry about that. But we're going to get right into it, guys. Erase your boards. We're going to go right into the very first question. I've actually made this trivia pretty easy, so if you get anything wrong, I'm going to make fun of you. So, we're going to start off the very first question. Which numbered seed from Europe and North America has not won a world championship? So there's one seed, number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4 seed has not won a world championship. Which one was it? Looks like everyone is very confused already. Guys, there's
are we talking like the seed that
the seed
going into the World Championship?
Yes. So if you're a number 3 seed in Europe, if you're a number 1 seed in North America, if you won the World Championship, that would take that number out. Which seed has not won a World Championship from Europe or North America? And it looks like Carpet is getting pretty confident, so I'm going to go to Carpet first. What's your answer, Carpet?
Got you, number 3.
You are wrong. The number 3 was iBuy Power Cosmic, and they won the World Championship. Quinn Lobdell, go ahead. No, you were awesome. The number 1 seed was Flipside Tactics, season number 2.
Were they
Let's see
really?
if-
They were number 1?
Yes, let's see if Classics
Lie.
can get it. 2, and 2 is correct. No number 2 seed has ever won a world championship. So far, the pros are better than casters. They're going to steal all our jobs. Guys, come on, Carpet and Quinn.
Which number 2 seed team didn't win?
All of them, Carpet.
This is a dumb question,
All
Gibbs.
of them. The other seed, the other seed was the number 4 seed Northern Gaming in the recent World Championship. Next question. Which team has won a series in league play? So we're going to have 4 teams. One of them won a series. Which one is it? It is Selfless from Season 1 Q1. Effort, Season 1 Qualifier 1 as well. Shoot and Goal, Season 1 Qualifier 2. Or Set to Destroy in Season number 3. So one of these teams won a series. Which one was it?
This is like low-key BMing from Gibbs, by the way.
It's just a hey,
Super low
Not everything
key.
can be positive, guys. It looks like Classic's ready, so you guys better hurry up. It looks like Pro's
I'll
gonna.
try not to look at this board.
Come on, Quinn.
I don't want to look over there. Quick, just say it louder, Quinn.
All right, Carpet, write something down. Time is up. Classics, I am going to you. Which team is it?
Effort.
No, Effort. They did
All right.
not win a series.
Boom.
Selfless is correct. Quinn.
There you
That's
go.
right. And Carpet, what do you got?
Nope, we're good.
All right,
It's
Carpet.
wrong.
Question, Gibbs.
Carpet got it wrong.
I tried shoot and goal.
Wait.
All right,
Shoot and goal,
we're
apparently.
gonna go quicker here. Who has the best record in Game 5s since Season 2? Because that's when it was a best of series
Record in Game 5s, Gibbs.
in North America League play.
This is the worst
dude.
trivia ever.
since Season 2.
Okay, so you've all watched about 200 games,
All right,
and about
hey,
100 of them were
the
Game
choices:
5s.
Sad
Who won
Jr.,
those games?
Sad Jr., Garrett, Rizzo, or Moses. And again, guys, if you're playing at home, you probably have more points. This one's a little tough.
It's not even teams, it's players.
It's players, individual players.
What's wrong with you, dude?
Just choose one because you guys are taking way too long. Well, because Season 2 started the best of format. So which players have the best record in game number 5s?
What?
Pick one. You're
right.
running out of time, Classics. Just
right.
pick one.
All right,
All right, here we go. Carpet is ready, and they're all right. And so, Carpet, go ahead.
I got my boy, Sad Jr.
Sad Jr., no, he's played in the most game 5s. He's played in 10. He is 4-6. Next up,
I
Quinn.
hope I
Rip.
have my savior here.
Moses, no. Moses, though, is undefeated in game 5s, but he is 5-0. There's someone better. Classics.
Garrett G.
Garrett G, no, he just lost his first best of 5 on Saturday. He is 5-1. The answer is Baby Rizzo at 7-0. He has
Really?
never lost a game 5, and he's
So-
won 7 of them.
Why would you
So back
think
with
Garrett
take
G?
3.
Garrett wins like every series 3-0.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but it's not like he wins most series. That's a
Hey,
smart
he was 5-1
pick.
compared to Rizzo's 7-0.
like
That's
that.
not that far.
Yeah. Next question. We're moving on because you guys are
But he
way
doesn't
too
get to
slow.
game 5s.
Yeah, but he
He must
still
have.
won some of them.
No, Garrett, I'm saying.
He still has won some of them.
He's
He's
got
a
6 game
6-0.
5s compared to
okay.
Rizzo's 7.
Next question. Best record, again, game 5s for Europe League play since season number 2. Again, it's players. Now, this one might be a little bit easier.
Since season 2, you're...
Yes. So we have Snatsky, Farah, and Siki, all coming from the same team, and K-Dop.
I guess season 1 wouldn't make sense because everyone played 5 games.
Yeah,
right?
it was different. So which one has the best record?
Does it
Quickly,
count
guys.
this season?
Yes, it counts this season as well so far.
You know, Gibbs told me before this should be easier for you guys.
It should be.
It should be so easy.
I was talking to Shogun, and he was getting most of these right.
Shogun just blurts out whatever comes
All
to
right,
his mind.
write it down, Carpet. Put it on your board. All right, Quinn's starting to write, Carpet's starting to write, and Classics is ready. Classics, show me the right answer.
Farah.
Yes, Farah is correct. He is 8-1 so far.
Easy.
Carpet, also Farah. Quinn is erasing. So, he also wrote.
I wrote that on there.
All right, Quinn does not get a point there. He's a cheater. He should get -1 point.
But
I was actually...
he wrote his answer
Hold on.
after he heard him
Hold
say
on.
Farah.
I was about to write Snatsky, and then I
I'm
realized
going
Snatsky and Fair were on the same team, and now Fair's played more.
And Snatsky-
So I'm like, oh, wait, it's got to be Fair then.
And Snatsky was also on Supersonic Avengers, and they were not good. In
That's
Best
true.
of Five.
That's true.
All right. Now, we've been talking about playoff scenarios a lot, so this is a question about tiebreakers and how you can clinch a top 2 spot. Without knowing any other team's records, what is the minimum amount of wins you would need to clinch top 2? So if you know nothing else, how many wins would you need where you're like, all right, we're guaranteed top 2? This one's tough. It's 7, 6, 5, or 4 wins in our standard league play format. And right now, let's update the standings here while they're writing it down. Classics at 2. The pros are winning so far. Carpet at 1. Quinn actually did get a negative point. He's at 0 because he's a cheater.
Wait, it was a negative point?
Yes, because you cheated. Don't cheat.
Lessons learned, big boy.
All right, is everyone ready? Did everyone write something? I'm waiting for Carpet. Carpet's writing something out. I'm going to start with Classics. He should know this. He's the pro. He wants to be top 2.
They just listen to us. They don't pay attention.
6.
No, 6 is wrong. Quinn.
Shoot, I had 5.
6. And they all wrote 6. So 6, you could finish in a 3-way tie at 6-1. So you could be out of it. You would have to need all 7 wins if you know nothing else. And this is why I do playoff scenarios.
Didn't you study math for 5 years, Carpet?
Math has nothing to do with statistics. Actually, everyone always thought I took statistics, and they kept asking me for stats help. I'm like, dude, I never took stats. Engineering does not do stats.
Yeah, stats is definitely different from engineers, that's for sure. Final question, guys. This is it. How spicy was this segment? We have 5 peppers, 4 peppers, 3 peppers, or 0 peppers. How spicy was this segment? Now, obviously, I had to choose one of these answers before the segment started.
Do I keep my integrity, or do I tell the truth?
That's
do I win the segment, or do I be honest? That's really
it's up to you guys.
A life lesson to be learned here,
It looks like
folks.
Classics is confident, but we're going to wait to the other answers. And if you can draw a chili pepper, that would add some bonus points, maybe. We'll see what the best chili pepper is. Actually, never mind, because you guys are going to take way too long on that. So, looks like everyone kind of wrote. I'm going to go with Classics first. Well, all right, he's done with his chili pepper. Classics, what's your answer?
Ghost peppers.
Ghost peppers. Okay, I like that answer. I will give him a half a point.
Oh.
Actually, a full point, because I don't think we can even do half a point. So he's going to get a point for that anyway.
I'm ready.
Carpet, what's your answer?
I'll do an honest 3 peppers.
A 3 pepper?
An honest 3
That's
peppers.
not a bad pepper.
I couldn't give you 5.
I'll give you a point for the pepper.
Okay, yeah, I got the
Quinn,
pepper.
I'm trying to draw my 3rd pepper, okay?
All right, he's going 3 peppers. Quinn, hurry up. You got to show it.
All right,
Those are bad peppers. He gets negative 1 point for that as well. Guys, the answer was 0 peppers, because the only time it's spicy is when you're watching Rocket League. It has to be an actual game, not talk show segments.
These are bananas.
Oh, okay, that's why. Well,
they never were peppers.
I think the winner is Classics. Classics, the pro, comes out victorious here.
That's fair.
So congratulations to Classics, the victor. And how does it feel, Classics?
Feels amazing. It looks like I'm the real champion now. Quinn Lobdell's stepping down from his position.
Classics going to sub out Quinn Lobdell again? Okay, I like it. Well, that will do it for the show, guys. And I want to just thank everyone for watching. We have the Rival Series, 11 a.m. for Europe. That is coming up on Friday. We will also see it next Wednesday, another talk show. So come back at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And to all my children below me, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.